They told you it couldn't be done. They told you to be realistic, to play it safe, to lower your expectations. But here's what they didn't tell you. Every great revolution, every towering empire, every miracle that ever defied the odds, began in silence, not with applause, not with permission, but with a thought so clear, so defiant, it shattered the invisible walls of limitation. The mind, your mind, isn't just a tool. It is the birthplace of all human possibility. It has forged cathedrals out of dreams, raised cities from sketches, and turned nameless men into legends. So if you're going to live an ordinary life, then yes, let your mind be idle. But if you're here to do the impossible, you must train your mind to obey one master, your vision. Because here's the truth no one will teach you in school. Your circumstances don't create your mind. Your mind creates your circumstances. And every man or woman who has ever left their name in the pages of history knew this. Edison didn't invent the light bulb because he had better resources. He did it because he refused to believe failure was final. Lincoln didn't save a nation because he was fearless. He did it because his purpose was bigger than his pain. Disney wasn't lucky to build an empire out of a mouse. He trained his mind to see castles where others saw nothing but swampland. And you have that same machine inside of you, that same force, that same divine engine of vision, obsession, and creation. But understand this, your mind is not neutral. It's either training you or you're training it. Most people, they wake up and let the world program their thoughts. The headlines, the gossip, the doubts, the noise. Their potential gets hijacked, not by failure, but by distraction. Because an untrained mind doesn't drift toward greatness. It drifts toward comfort. It drifts toward mediocrity. It drifts toward excuses masked as logic. But you must become a mental warrior. Someone who refuses to let fear rent space in your head. Someone who doesn't need validation to move forward. Someone who understands. Your reality is a reflection of the thoughts you tolerate. And if you want to change your reality, you must first change the way you speak to yourself when no one is listening. Stop saying, "I don't know how. I'm not ready. I'm not like them." Start declaring, "I will find a way. I am becoming what I envision. I was built for this." You see, belief isn't some soft, feel-good emotion. It is a weapon, a sharpened, fire-forged tool for those brave enough to pick it up. Because once belief enters your system, the impossible bends to your will. But don't confuse belief with wishing. Don't confuse vision with fantasy. A trained mind doesn't just imagine success, it reverse engineers it. It sees the mountain and sharpens the axe. It doesn't pray for shorter routes. It builds stronger legs. Let me be brutally clear. If you want to train your mind to do the impossible, you will have to sacrifice who you are for who you can become. That means killing off the version of you that settles for good enough, that hesitates instead of hunts, that waits for motivation instead of moving from discipline. Because there's a price to reprogramming your mind. And it is not cheap. You will lose friends. You will break habits. You will walk alone when others sit in circles of comfort. But that's how legacies are built. In solitude, in struggle, in silence. While the world sleeps, you're studying. While others scroll, you're sculpting. While they doubt, you decide. You want to know what separates those who merely survive from those who rise. Clarity. The mind is like fire. Uncontrolled, it will burn through your focus and leave you with ashes. But aimed, it will forge steel. You must get radically, violently clear on what you want. Not vague, not someday. Not maybe when things calm down. What do you want with such intensity that it wakes you up at night? What is the life you'd bleed for? What vision is so alive inside of you, it hurts to not pursue it? Because until you know that, really know that, your mind will wander. And wandering minds don't build destiny. They build distraction. You must choose your direction with finality. Like a general picking a battlefield. Like a rocket locked on its target. No more second-guessing. No more indecision dressed up as logic. No more living with your foot on the brake. Because once you choose, the universe starts moving. Not in magic, not in luck, but in momentum. Doors don't open for the undecided. Opportunities don't wait for the timid. And success does not whisper to the passive. It roars for the bold. But here's the part no one talks about. Clarity is just the first cut. After that comes discipline. Discipline is the fire that turns your vision from fragile to forged. It is showing up when you're tired. It is acting when you don't feel like it. It is the ability to tell your emotions. You don't run this show. Most people lose because they think discipline is punishment. But in truth, discipline is liberation. It frees you from chaos, from randomness, from the mental agony of living beneath your potential. You think it was talent that built empires? No. It was repeated, unglamorous, disciplined execution. Carnegie didn't become steel royalty because he had an idea. He became Carnegie because he had an ironclad process. He trained his mind to move regardless of mood. And so must you, because if you can only work when it's easy, you will never reach where it's hard to fail. If you wait to feel like it, you'll spend your life watching those who didn't. You're not tired. You're undisciplined. You're not stuck. You're unclear. You're not broken. You're just untrained. And now is the time to retrain everything. Your mornings, your focus, your identity. Because here's the law. You will never outperform the identity you hold in your mind. You say you want wealth. Do you think like a wealthy person? You say you want success. Do you live like someone obsessed with success? You say you want peace. Do you guard your energy like it's sacred? The mind must not only obey your commands, it must be saturated in your standard. Not the standard of your friends, not the standard of your past, but the standard of who you are becoming. That's how people go from average to unstoppable. They raise their minimums. They stretch what's normal. They stop asking for easy and start demanding excellence. And that level of living demands one thing above all. Faith, not blind faith, not naive hoping, but bold, unshakable belief in the unseen. Napoleon Hill called it the sixth sense, that inner knowing, the whisper that says, you were built for more than this. Because when you train your mind to believe before the results, when you start living like the outcome is already done, you bend reality to match your conviction. The Wright brothers didn't build the plane because it made sense. They built it because they saw what didn't yet exist. They didn't ask for consensus. They trusted the voice inside. And so must you, because faith is the foundation of all mastery. Without it, you'll crumble at the first sign of adversity. With it, you'll rise again even after 100 defeats. Adversity is not your enemy. It is your training ground. Every setback, every failure, every delay. It is not life punishing you. It is life testing your claim to greatness. Because the impossible isn't hard because it's unreachable. It's hard because it demands that you change. It demands a new version of you, a stronger mind, a sharper focus, a deeper resilience. And this is where most people quit. They touch discomfort, and they retreat. They meet resistance, and they reinterpret it as maybe this isn't for me. But those who win, they walk through fire like it's oxygen. They embrace chaos like it's fuel. They don't flinch. They adapt. Adaptation is the hidden superpower of the mind. The brain is not fixed, it is plastic. Can be reshaped, rebuilt, rewired. The patterns that control you today, they can be burned out and replaced. But only if you stay long enough in the heat. You cannot train the mind in comfort. Just like steel cannot be forged in lukewarm water. You must go into the furnace, into the doubt, into the silence, into the days where nothing makes sense but you move anyway. Because that is when the impossible starts to shift. Not in the spotlight, but in the dark, unseen hours where champions are carved in solitude.